I could not believe that. How comes I know the entire Quran but I still have those 14 mistakes? So we call those sort of mistakes lahn al-khafi, means it's minor mistakes, tajweed mistakes, let's say. These sort of mistakes, they don't really change the meaning of the Quran, but what they actually do, they stop you from becoming, let's say, a professional reciter. Like a lot of our callers called in last week, and mashallah, tabarakallah, their recitation was almost perfect. I was surprised. The way when they were reciting, I thought the imams of the masjid, mashallah. But sometimes you have minor mistakes, few things that are stopping you from becoming professional, like or to become something that to make a recitation into something that is absolutely amazing. So I start spending time with this teacher, and the teacher was Sheikh Umar Hafid, and he have this massive class every morning after Salat al-Fajr, and there are around 60 to 70 people in his halaqah. So if you go there late, or if you go there, you have to wait for 60 people to recite Surah Al-Fatihah till you get your turn. And when you get your turn, and you recite Surah Al-Fatihah, he will going to correct you in front of everyone. And he was a quite nice teacher, but if he thinks that you're making the mistake again and again and you're not correcting it, he might make fun of you in front of everyone. Make fun of your mistake. So we're not going to do that in the show, but I'm going to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. I would love to take your calls in and correct your Surah Al-Fatiha as much as I can, because brothers and sisters, Surah Al-Fatiha is a surah that we recite every single day in our daily prayers. Very important surah, very important surah. If you can spend next 2-3 months just to perfect this surah, all the makharij, all the throat letters, all the full mouth letters, all the heavy letters, if you just do that, that would be a massive achievement. Just perfecting Surah Al-Fatiha. And I'll tell you what, if you perfect Surah Al-Fatiha, your throat letters, your full mouth letters, your hams, and all the other sort of tajweed in Surah Al-Fatiha, that will definitely will help you, is actually going to help you to improve your other surahs. That's for sure. That's 100% for sure. Guess how long it took me to perfect my Surah Al-Fatiha with this teacher? It took me, as far as I remember, a good month and 2 weeks, a good 40 days. I kept going to him. There were days I go to him, and I'm sitting with him, and there's 60 people who are reciting, and then when it's almost my turn, it's the class is over. So it required a lot of patience to sit with a great teacher to learn from him. So I kept going to him. My aim was, I want to go one day and recite Surah Al-Fatiha to him, and I want to make sure I make no mistakes. I remember, but right on the last few days, one day when I recited Surah Al-Fatiha, I actually made no mistakes, and well, the teacher told me no, I wasn't paying attention. So it means that we always have mistakes, we human beings, and there's always room for improvement, minor improvement, major improvement, but there's always a room to improve your recitation, inshallah. So I'm going to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. I will be expecting you, inshallah, to call in, and I'm more than happy to listen to your recitation, give you feedback, inshallah ta'ala. So let's begin. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Fatiha, it means the opener. This surah is the opener of the Quran. Each prayer we pray on a daily basis, we have to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. And if you're an imam, or if you're a student of Quran and your aim is to become an imam one day, you have to make sure, it's a must, you have to make sure that your Fatiha is on point. Because Fatiha is one of the main pillars, or one of the main requirements of the prayer, right? And so you have to make sure that you recite it perfectly fine. Now, what I realize sometimes that as I'm listening to students who are, leading Taraweeh, or a lot of people who are reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, there are some mistakes that they make that are very quite common, right? If I were to start with the letter, the last ayah, Bolin, Bolin. Now, how do we recite? How do we pronounce the letter Dha? Most people recite letter Dha, yeah, like a Dha. It's supposed to be Dha. So, the letter Dha again. Bolin. So your tongue is supposed to touch side of your teeth, right? So this is your palate. These are your teeth. So if this is your palate, top of your mouth, these are your teeth, this is your tongue. Bo. We don't say volin. Bolin. It's a major mistake because it can change the meaning of ball into vol. There's a major difference between ball and vol. So غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Inshallah, see you after the break, inshallah. Stay with us.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Welcome back, viewers. We are here with you. This is Alif Laam Meem show. We are going to be taking your calls in, inshallah. Br Sami is joining us in the show, inshallah, live. We are going to be taking calls in and we'll listen to your recitation, and we are going to be correcting you bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we went over Surah Al-Fatihah just over the break. I was explaining the letter Dad. The Arabic language, we call it Lughatul Dad because it's the hardest letter to pronounce in Arabic language. Lughatul Dad. So what we need to do is really try to focus and Dad. So from the side of you see these are your teeth, side to Dad. Dad. You want to practice that. So Dallin, not the, not even behind these teeth. So not even the. The, yeah. So that's the, inshallah. If I were to focus on one more common mistake that people make is the letter ra. Ra is not as the letter R in English. So when we say ra in Arabic, if it has a sukoon or shadda, you see hir, it rolls. It's not like a letter R. No, it rolls. Hir. There's a lot of pressure behind it. We call this tikrar fil ra. Is a quality that is very specific about letter Ra. So when you're reading the Bismillah, Bismillah, hir, try to force it, try to put a bit of pressure behind the Ra. Nir-Rahim. Also, Ar-Rahman, Nir-Rahim. What can be wrong is when you say Ar-Rahman, Nir-Rahim. It is Ar-Rahman, Nir-Rahim. Very important to focus on these two letters, as well as I would say ha and ain. Very common mistake when people make ha and ain right from the middle of your throat. Ha is not ha, ain is not hamza, no. So ain right from the middle of your throat. If you want to practice it, say ma, and then go to ain with the sukoon. Ma. If you're saying ma hamza, you're ending it here. I want you to end it here. Ma. Also, mah would be ha. Now what I want you to do is mah. Extremely important to practice your ain and ha. Ain and ha. If you're not used to it, it's like a muscle that you're trying to build. It's like a spot that you're trying to recognize for the first time. Ain and ha. So bear that in mind. Ain and ha, and then we say da, and also the letter ra. Brother Sami is with us.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salamatullah wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, inshallah, Shaykh, he was mentioning, I was just listening over, hearing some of the rules of tajweed that you were talking about. But can we just, in terms of looking at the ameen at the end, I know we mentioned this maybe 2 weeks ago, but just to remind the viewers, when we say, is it ameen or is it ameen? Where would you prolong the mad on which syllable?
It's supposed to be alif. Ameen. But
Right.
both alif and then both are stretching letters. But you normally
Right.
see ameen. There's like a mud on top of alif. There's
Right.
ameen.
Right, okay,
yeah.
because usually, because I have heard both recitations from Masjid al-Haram,
Yeah.
and I've heard both styles being recited, so I didn't know which one is one is the more common one to do.
Yeah. So
So-
ameen would be correct. But there's not. Thing is, if it's not part of Quran, so word ameen when we say after Surah Al-Fatihah, that's not really from Quran. So
Inshallah.
yeah. So it can be said both ways.
Jazakumullah khair, alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, mashallah, welcome back to the show. Alif Lam Meem. It is your opportunity to explore the Quran, the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have our Sheikh Hamza here with us, hafidhahullah, and we're about to take some more callers so we can listen to the recitation. And we are looking at Surah Al-Fatihah today just to perfect this particular chapter of the Quran. So we're gonna, without further ado, Assalamu alaikum caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Caller, can you put your TV set down, the volume down? Can you speak up a little bit? Jazakallah khair.
Wa alaikum assalam.
What's your name?
Anas.
Anas, mashallah. Where are you calling from, Anas?
Dudley.
From Reading.
No, from Dudley.
I couldn't hear that. Okay.
From Birmingham.
Oh, Dublin, mashallah. Ireland, mashallah. Fantastic.
Not from Ireland. from Birmingham.
Oh, from Birmingham, mashallah, Birmingham Sharif. Because some nice restaurants there, alhamdulillah. So whenever you're ready, inshallah, start with your recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون وإذا سألك عبادي أني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون.
Jazakumullah khair there. Barakallah feek. Thank you so much for your recitation, mashallah, beautiful. It brought me back to the days of Mecca, reciting behind Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Sudais. So Sheikh Hamza, what feedback have you got for our brother?
Well, mashallah, well done. Probably listening to him, you can imagine that he's like good imam, inshallah, in the future, if not already. I would say minor mistakes, right? So focus on this. When you are reciting, try not to recite from here. Okay, so ya ayyuha, that's you using your nose. So what you want to do is practice this ya, unless it's a noon or meem sakina with the ghunna, or the ones that have ghunna, or the meem or noon with the sukoon, do not pronounce any letter from here. Also, for example, la'allakum, la'allakum, you notice the difference. So you don't want to pronounce lam from your khayshum, from your nose. Also, Qur'an, we don't bounce the letter ra. Qur'an, yusr, usr, we do not bounce the letter sin again. We only bounce qaf, ta, ba, deen, dal if they are at the end of the ayah or if they have sukoon. Anni, wa idha sa'alaka ibadi anni, not anni. So ayn is deep from your throat. Yeah? MashaAllah, well done, beautiful recitation.
Fantastic, absolutely, MashaAllah, tabarakallah, fantastic recitation. We are trying to keep the recitation to the opening chapter today, inshallah, just so we can be more precise. I do believe we have another caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Muhammad Nu'man, calling from Coventry.
MashaAllah, Muhammad Nu'man. We can start straight away. If you can keep something very brief so we can give you the feedback after the break. Whenever you're ready to start. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ استسقى موسى لقومه فقلنا اضرب بعصاك الحجر فانفجرت منه 12 عينا قد علم كل أناس مشربهم كلوا واشربوا من رزق الله ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين وإذ قلتم يا موسى لن نصبر على طعام واحد فادع لنا ربك يخرج لنا مما تنبت الأرض من بقلها وقثائها وفومها وعدسها.
Jazakumullah khair. Stop you there, inshallah, because we are about to take a break. Hasbuk, barakallah feek. We will give you some feedback after the break, inshallah. As for now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to our segment of Alif Laam Meem, the show that we are exploring and looking at and listening to the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today is a very special show because we are looking at the first chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Fatihah, and there are so much benefits within this particular chapter as well as its tilawat al-Quran. So without further ado, we are going to take the next caller, inshallah ta'ala, where we'll be listening to the caller's recitation, and we have our esteemed guest, Sheikh Hamza here, who is a graduate from the Prophet ﷺ's masjid and a memorizer of the Quran, so he's he is competent and qualified to give some feedback, inshallah. So do we have our next caller? Assalamu alaikum. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam.
What's your name, caller?
Muhammad.
Muhammad, and where are you calling from, brother?
London.
London, mashallah. So whenever you're ready, brother Muhammad, you can begin.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تحرموا طيبات ما أحل الله لكم ولا تعتدوا إن الله لا يحب المعتدين وكلوا مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا واتقوا الله الذي أنتم به مؤمنون لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان فكفارته إطعام 10 مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم أو كسوتهم أو تحريق رقبة فمن لم يجد فصيام 3 أيام ذلك كفارة أيمانكم إذا حلفتم واحفظوا أيمانكم كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تشكرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون إنما يريد الشيطان أن يوقع بينكم العداوة والبغضاء في الخمر والميسر ويصدكم عن ذكر الله وعن الصلاة.
Jazakum Allah khair. Allah yubarak fik. Thank you so much, caller, for your recitation. MashaAllah. Very tranquil, very beautiful. Before we give you feedback, Brother Muhammad, inshallah, Sheikh, just to remind, we do have the other caller before that called in from Coventry. So I believe Brother Muhammad also. If you can give, so we have two Muhammadain. You can basically give both feedbacks, inshallah.
Right. So Muhammad Nu'man, mashallah, tabarakallah, I know one. I hope it's him. So Muhammad Nu'man, mashallah, very good recitation. And also Muhammad, the one just called now from London, beautiful recitation, both of you. I was trying to compare Muhammad, the one who called from London. Muhammad Nu'man, your recitation is amazing. I just think the ayahs, the verses are slightly longer, and you know the tune that you're trying to imitate or you're trying to get hold of, it's very advanced. So I would advise you to try to find a simpler tune, just to be more comfortable when you're reciting Quran. But your recitation was very good, mashallah. I could only quote few minor tajweed mistakes like asharati. So we don't bounce the sheen, we say ashrati. So that's from Muhammad Nu'man, Muhammad who called from London. Halalan, ha, it's not a ha, so we don't say halalan. Khamru, khamaru. See, we don't bounce the letter Meem. Also, maysiru. You see, maysiru. These are huruf al-leen. So, for example, ay, bay, tay. You see, every time I'm saying, I'm joining an active letter with ya, sukun, my mouth is spreading. Say, j. So, maysiru. So we don't say maysiru, maysiru wal ansabu. So bear that in mind. Maysiru. Also in Surah Al-Fatihah, you know, things like wa iyyaka. You want to spread your mouth when you're saying ya, especially if the ya has sukun. So well done both Muhammad Nu'man and the other Muhammad who called. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Good recitation.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, both beautiful, recitations of the Quran. So obviously, you're just advising that the starting off just to read in a very basic melody, inshallah, just to grasp the rules of tajweed, alhamdulillah. Which a lot of us, we tend to focus more on the style, the tilawah, rather than perfecting the rules of tajweed, inshallah. I believe, can we just get an update if we do have another caller on the line, inshallah? We do have another caller, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, you are live on Iman channel on Alif, Laam, Meem. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam. My name's Iram. I'm from London.
Sister Iram, if you can put your television volume down a little bit, and if you can speak slightly higher, jazakumullah khairan.
Sure. It's completely down. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
sister, whenever you're ready, inshallah, we are ready as well.
Okay, Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Ameen. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much for that recitation, inshallah. From this moment on, you can put the phone down, inshallah. We will give you feedback. So, Sheikh, have you got any comments for the recitation?
Yeah, Sister Ira, mashallah, the recitation was slow, which what we actually want. And mashallah, and then you recited the same surah I recited in the beginning of the show. So it's quite helpful if you recite the same verses or the surahs that you really recite on a daily basis, like Surah Al-Fatihah. It's very helpful because then I can correct you, and you can correct yourself, because these surahs you're repeating them over and over again. So they're very important. So sister, well done. Ra, here, not here. Okay. Also the letter Ra, if it has a fatha, is a full mouth letter. So Rahma, not Rahma. Rahmanir Rahim. Ha is a throat letter, and also Ain is a throat letter right from the middle of your throat. So we say Rahim, and we say Alayhim, we don't say Alayhim. Rahim, we don't say Rahim. Okay. Also, Siratal Ladina. Lam is not a full mouth letter, so we don't say Ladina, Ladina. But sister, recitation is slow. There's a lot of room for improvement, and I'm sure you can. If as long as you read slow and you try your best to adopt and correct these mistakes, you will improve, inshallah. But well done.
Jazakumullah khair, absolutely, mashallah. Sheikh, just on the note of tilawah again, I know a lot of questions are regarding this, but where is the limit, for example, when a lot of us are reciting the Quran and we are reciting, for example, if we take a Qari, Sheikh Mishari Rashid Al-Fasi from Kuwait, imitating his style. So where would the boundary or the limit between singing the Quran or coming across as if you're singing the Quran and an actual recitation? Is there any limit to the melody or the way it is
but it's a quite good question. So there's a narration by Prophet Muhammad where he says, "Man lam yataghanna bil Quran falaysa minna." So whoever doesn't sing the Quran, it's not among us. It means he's not really reading the Quran then.
Right.
So you should read the Quran in a way that it's like you're presenting something amazing, right? And you're singing it. You don't present Quran like you talking something normal or you're just saying something. So the limit is, as long as you don't mess up with your tajweed rules, it's okay.
Right, okay.
So the difference is when you hear these nasheed artists, right, amazing voices, and they play with the tunes and everything, we can't do that with Quran, because there, even if they are using Arabic language, they play with it. They stretch few letters, and sometimes if you're an Arab and you listen to them, it's like you realize that they're saying these words in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Like songs, for example, in English. So bear that in mind. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you are obeyed, you know,
The rules.
in the tajweed rules, inshallah.
Jazakumullah khair. Allah barak feek, inshallah, Shaykh. Dear viewers, we are going to take a short break and we will be back. So please do call in and we will listen to your recitation after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Welcome back to the show Alif Lam Meem, the show that we are going to be listening to, the recitation of the Quran, learning together, sharing together, and obviously we are going to be correcting your recitation, inshallah, so that you may perfect your tilawah. And as the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, that the person on the Day of Judgment will be asked to recite from the Book of Allah, and once he recites the Quran, that he will elevate and he will rise and he will keep ascending, and the place or the position that he stops reciting will be his place, inshallah. So just bear that in mind, because the best of you are those who learn the Quran and teach it to others, embody the Quran, be a manifestation of this book, subhanAllah, a book of guidance, a guidance for mankind that was sent in truth to the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wassalam, through the many chapters of the Quran. And the chapter that we are looking at today is one of the most magnificent, powerful chapters of the Quran, which is Surah Al-Fatihah, one of my favorite chapters of the Quran, because it is the opener, it is the often repeated chapter of the salah, of the prayer in of itself. And whether you are a new Muslim, whether you're an old Muslim, whether you are a child, whether you're an elderly person, there is no dispute in regards to the person memorizing this particular chapter, and that is the beauty of Surah Al-Fatiha. So please, we do encourage you all to recite, to call in, inshallah. Tell your family members, your friends, your community to tune in, inshallah, and recite. Do not be shy, because obviously shyness has limits, but when it comes to the Book of Allah, it is all about learning. We are learning from each other. Sheikh, just a question, inshallah, because we're talking about learning. So, for example, what is the position of someone who is too shy to recite the Quran in front of his teacher? We're asked to recite, and he or she is like, so what advice would you give? And they're very shy, they're a very introvert type of person. And I don't know if you have ever come across this as being a teacher to some of these students, that they're just too shy to recite the Quran.
Well, it's something that you can always work on. So, there's an amazing book about introverts. I even forgot the name of the book. So, but the idea is, introvert doesn't necessarily mean that you can't recite Quran in public.
Yeah.
Some introverts are amazing in public speaking.
Right.
It's just that they know they're not comfortable there, but they master the art.
Right.
So I'm the opposite. So I'm quite open, and then with my teachers, they always appreciated me that my voice is loud, and they can easily hear my mistakes and correct.
Absolutely.
So the benefit of being able to have the confidence to recite loud and clear is that you get corrected.
Yeah.
Of course, the teacher is only listening to you to correct you. So the louder you can recite, and with the confidence that you can recite, the teacher can see that you got passion there, and he will take an interest to correct you.
Absolutely.
So let's say you're someone quite new to a teacher, and then you're not even reciting loud. The teacher will not be bothered to tell you, that you should be reading loud, and keep on telling you again and again, and he will only correct what you hear. So
Yeah.
it's a very important skill that you want to learn. Now, reading in front of public is something else. So as we're taking callers in the show, you're not really reading in front of a public.
Yeah, you're behind a
You can
screen,
just
aren't you?
imagine that you're reciting to someone you see on the screen, just to me, right? So that doesn't really require a lot of confidence. But when you recite in front of a lot of people, yeah, that is a skill, and
Absolutely.
it doesn't come unless you practice it like an imam.
Yeah, or
Yeah, of
or
course.
leading the prayer as well. Can you
Yeah,
imagine? It's
which is not
very.
easy.
I can always. SubhanAllah, the amount of
easy.
confidence, especially if
Yeah.
you're leading in one of the main
Yeah.
masjids of the world, and you're the imam, and have the, the confidence to do so. Because
That is something that you have to work on it differently. It's very different from public speaking, let's say.
Absolutely.
It's very different, yeah.
Absolutely, subhanallah. And on the flip side of that someone, they are too arrogant to want to recite, because they believe in themselves that they know the Quran without ever studying the rules of tajweed, and they are sort of in a way shy or shameful of someone correcting their mistakes.
Yeah. Major issue, it's a major problem. Like
especially for the elderly, for example, that they are stuck in their ways, and they've been reciting probably incorrectly, and then someone who is competent, qualified to trying to correct them, and what would be the situation?
I mean, imagine if this were to be in anything other than Quran. So, for example, let's say you're a doctor, you're learning to become, a surgeon, and then you don't like to be corrected. You're too arrogant, right? And you try your best not to make any mistake. And if you get caught by making a mistake, you just act like you always want to act like you didn't make that mistake. You will end up getting yourself in a serious trouble or damaging someone. Now, when it comes to Quran, it's a book of Allah. You have to, and then you can't recite it in your own way. It have to be recited in the way of Sahaba and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a very important thing, and you have to deal with your arrogance there. Very, very important. Otherwise, Quran is not for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always remember was it a narration, if you can correct me, that one of the companions, he was reciting awfully slow and very long, and it was making the people very tired. And then the news got back to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they told, and he went to advise the companion, tell him, take it easy on the people and understand their situation, because it was a very lengthy salah as well.
That was in terms of leading a prayer.
Yeah.
But generally, when we say someone is arrogant, it means when it comes to reciting Quran is that they don't want to be corrected,
Yes.
especially in front of others. I think is you have to, because whether you like it or not, if you become an imam, there will be days that you go to masjid and you absolutely, your energy is up and you want to recite something nicely, and as you start reciting, you just forget, or you make a mistake. And the entire page or the half page you wanted to recite and you has so much passion about, drops down.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you have to sort of just tell yourself, you know what, I am going to be making mistakes.
Yes, absolutely.
So learn from your mistakes.
Inshallah.
That's the reason we want to make mistakes. We want to learn from them.
Inshallah. So this segment of the show, inshallah, the last final segment, is where we're going to listen to a portion of the Quran being recited by Sheikh Hamza. And then hopefully for next week you can listen, practice these verses, and call in next week, brothers and sisters, inshallah, with your recitation of the Quran. So Shaykh, whenever you're ready, Bismillah.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakumullah khair, inshallah. So Shaykh, can you just clarify what chapter was that, which ayat were they that you're reciting from?
Yeah, inshallah. So we started the show with Surah Al-Fatihah, then we did the first 5 verses or first page of Surah Al-Baqarah. These are the next 5 or 6 verses from the second page of Surah Al-Baqarah. It would be good that if you go over, these notes and then you try to apply them on the new verses, and then you come next week and read these verses to us, and then we will try to correct you, identify your mistakes, try to explain your mistakes, inshallah. And as we are moving forward, you will be improving your Quran bi'idhnillahi ta'ala and correcting your mistakes.
And are there any specific mistakes that people should be looking out for in those verses that you recited, common mistakes?
There can be, but like I said in the beginning of the show, when we went over Surah Al-Fatihah, the most common ones, ha and ayn, then you have the letter Dad, and as well as letter Ra. You want to perfect these, common mistakes. And, every verse that we recite, there's always Ayn and Ha, there's always a Ra there. So try to go over them, and then from the corrections, from the recitation of the brothers and the sisters who call in, if you can watch it again and you can see what I corrected them on. So pick those mistakes up and make notes, and then try to recite these verses, and your aim should be, okay, this is where people would make mistake, or where I would make mistake, and underline it, and then try to pronounce it in a correct way. So that would be
Alhamdulillah, Jazakumullah khair. So as well, inshallah, brothers and sisters, so remember, for next week we are going to be looking at those particular verses, so you can get out your Qur'ans, you practice between one another. Remember, we are the ummah, wa ta'awanu ala al-birri wa taqwa wa la ta'awanu ala al-ithmi wal udwan wa ma'asiyat al-rasul, and engage with one another in goodness, and do not engage with each other upon evil and transgression. So remember to advise one another, especially in help with the recitation of the Quran. So you can get out your Quran for next week, practice the whole week, go to learn from your imams, your local teachers, your madrasas, and inshallah we would love to hear you from next week. We want to say a big Congratulations and Jazakumullah khair to all the people that have had the confidence to recite in front of the Shaykh today, inshallah, on live television. May Allah bless all of you and increase you all in Iman and your recitation of the Quran. So, as for now, we greet you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين